What is going on YouTube? And welcome back to my channel, JoJo Speaks. Thank y'all so much for joining us for this review of 90 Day Fiance The Other Way, Season 6, Episode 20. This is the season finale of this Season 6. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, press that like button, leave us your comments, let us know your thoughts on the couples we're discussing tonight. Also, be sure to press the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And last but not least, share JoJo Speaks with all your family, friends, and loved ones. Let everybody out here know that JoJo Speaks is out here in these YouTube streets. I got my main man, Dustin, back with me to talk about the season finale. Dustin, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. I'm so glad to be back with my best friend as well. So thank you for having me back. And thank you for always being there, Jonathan. Thank you for last night very much. It was a really last night. Thank you very much last night.
No problemo, Dustin. Let's start off with I'm surprised that we did not see Dempsey and Statler in this particular episode. However, I'm not complaining about not seeing them because I'm glad we did not have to hear Statler's whining and complaining and anxiety. So I'm glad that we have gotten past that. I hope that she does see herself on TV and see how she can change to make herself better. But anyways, let's start with the surprise that I was not expecting. Josh and Lily actually had their wedding ceremony, and boy, was it lavish. Boy, was it looked really expensive. Like it looked quite expensive to me. It looked like there was quite a lot of money that was spent on that, but I don't know how far the dollar in China goes compared to the dollar in America, but they were paying like a deposit of like.
I don't think it goes. I don't think it goes as far as it does in America, Jonathan.
Okay.
I don't think it goes as far as. I don't go for
because they had a whole bunch of decorations. It was a beautiful ceremony. I have to say there were a lot of traditions that they were practicing while they were there. But before we get to the actual wedding, after Josh's payment did not go through, Lily decided that she's going to ask for a loan from her bank, and then Josh would give the cash that he had, and then they will be able to pay for their wedding that way. But Lily said that she was testing Josh to see that he would do what a husband is supposed to do, and I'm assuming that would be to pay for the rest of the entire amount, the deposit amount that was left owing on it. And my thing is, Lily, you know how your man's financials are looking, and yet you are still expecting for him to be able to pay when you know he ain't got that money. Lily is a little bit more annoying to me than Statler. I can take Statler, but Lily does what she does, but then she puts a smile behind it. And I can't stand that mess whatsoever. Hey, Lady Virgo, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for being here. I can't stand neither one of them, Jonathan. Neither one of them gets on my nerves. So I'm so glad that I'm so glad that this is a finale, and I'm so glad that this is next week is a tell-all, because I'm so ready for 90 day before the 90 day, because I'm so ready for a new beginning, and I'm so ready for new couples. So I am, because this season has really put us through the ringer here, and especially me, and I think that you're about on the same page as I am. And these people are on my last nerve.
So what? Shout out to Robin that's in the comments. Hey, Robin. Robin says happy Monday to everyone. What is it about Josh that you don't care for? I understand why you might not like Lily. Why don't you like Josh?
Well, I like Josh, but I just think that he doesn't understand. Or I feel like they both don't understand each other.
I can agree with that.
They both don't understand each other, where they're both coming from, and I think that I don't see the marriage lasting in the long term.
Me either. And we saw the preview for the tell-all at the end of the episode, and Josh and Lily were not at the tell-all. At least I don't remember seeing them in the preview for the tell-all. But yes, just like you said, Dustin, I really do not expect for this couple to last. They barely were able to. They were barely able to scrape up enough money to pay for this wedding, and that it's painful for me to watch Josh cling on to this woman who has no respect for him, who does not care about his feelings whatsoever, who knows what their issues are, but does not care because those issues
Hmm.
do not attribute to her bottom line, which is, I guess, to just have a
She
man.
doesn't. She. I had this conversation before, and I said it on here. She does not care about how he feels.
No, she doesn't
She
at
does. She
all.
does. She does not care about. The only thing that she cares is about herself, and herself only. She does not care about uh her how he feels at all.
Exactly,
And
and
I,
that's
and it really, it really, uh, it really my current situation is it really hits me hard because you know I just don't I feel bad for this couple, but I just don't think that he cares about how he feels at all or
she
how.
doesn't. And it's so sad to me because I see Josh taking accountability like time after time, even though it might take him a little bit of pushing to get there, he gets there eventually. However, Lily does not take any accountability. Well, I've not heard her once take accountability for anything that she has done to Josh since we have started this particular season. And this was my introduction to each and every one of these couples. So I had no idea what Lily's
She
personality was
hasn't.
like before
She
this,
hasn't.
but
From episode one of season six turns to I can definitely say that she hasn't done a darn thing for him. Not a darn thing, not a damn thing, because I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't even see the love in it, and I don't see the love, Jonathan, because it's a this is a this is a very sad couple to me, and
it is.
I think that this couple needs to get some needs to just break it off and be done because this is not a good this is not a good couple for this season on this show, and I hope we don't see him back next season. Hope we don't because I don't want to see him back next season because no, there's no way I don't want to see him back next season at all. I just don't.
Actually, I
Mm.
just remembered something from the tell-all. They were actually on the tell-all because I remember Lily's daughter asking her why he doesn't F her mom. So yes, they were actually on the tell-all, and that was a main part of their discussion during the tell-all. So we'll see.
Oh, I didn't see that part. I
Yeah,
didn't see
yeah,
that part.
Lily. It seems I feel like one of them wasn't there. Maybe Lily wasn't there. I'm not sure, but I know at least one of them was there. So we'll be able to see somewhat of a conclusion, I guess you could say,
Mhm.
when we get back to them in the tell-all. But let's
Thank you.
move
Mhm.
forward to let's go with Joanne and Sean. So Joanne has a
Mhm.
conversation with her eldest son Joey. And you know,
Right.
this is the first time that they've talked since he's gotten back to America. She's currently in Iceland. And I think Joey said it's been 4 days since they've seen each other.
4 days, yeah, 4 days.
And
Mm.
you know, she asked him, you know, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on my plan to move to Ireland and be with my man and just go back and forth to the US from time to time? Hey Bianca,
Hi,
Bianca's there in
Bianca.
the chat. Thank you so much for being here, Bianca.
Mhm.
And he says, you know, I want you to be happy, and I want you to live your life. However, I would prefer for you to be here in the US. And then she asked Joey about his younger brother and if his younger brother has said anything concerning the information that they shared with them while they were in Iceland. And he said no, he hasn't had a peep. He hasn't said a word concerning it. And
Mm-mm.
this is more concerning to Joanne than actually her son, her eldest son Joey, saying that he doesn't care, but he'd rather her be in the US. Instead of actually living in Iceland. And I have to say that initially I was surprised that Joanne made the decision to not move to Ireland. But I was thinking of a young person's frame of mind. I feel like if she was younger, she might have made the decision to stay in Ireland with her man, even though she
Yeah.
has two kids in the US. But she is a woman of a particular age. And so she's, of course, more mature. And even though, you
Right.
know, getting married on the fly and not telling anybody was a very immature decision to make, she did make a mature decision to put her kids first. And she said that she would wait 6 years until I guess her younger son it gets to, but it seems like her younger son would still be in high school after 6 years. So I don't know where the 6 years came from, but she said that she would
Right.
wait until her kids were older before she moved out to Ireland. And Sean did
Mm-hmm.
not take that did not take that too well, but at the same time, he knows he really can't do much about it because Joanne has to think of her children. What did you think of her conversation with Joey, and then her
Mm.
conversation with Sean later on, letting him know that she won't be moving to
I
Ireland?
think it was heartbreaking.
It
I think
was.
I think it was heartbreaking. It was not only heartbreaking for me, but I know it was heartbreaking for you to see that as well, Jonathan, because
Hmm.
I wanted her to be able to stay with her husband, um, and whatever I can't remember where they're at now, but wherever
They're in
they're at,
Iceland.
Iceland. Thank you,
No, they're in Ireland.
Ireland.
Corona's in
Thank you.
Iceland.
But I just I wanted her to be able to stay where she's at, for for her happiness as well. But
Hmm.
this has really changed how I feel about Joanne, because Joanne is really stepping up to the plate, and she's actually going back to the United States of America. Something I didn't think she would do.
Hmm.
I thought she would stay there, uh,
I thought she would
regardless.
too.
I thought she would stay there regardless, Jonathan. And it really shows me that her kids do come, her kids do come first,
Hmm.
uh, in her life, and that's the way it should be. But
Right.
and I just didn't expect that to flow. It just really surprised me to see her actually tell him, "No, I am going back to the United States of America."
Yeah. Were you surprised that Sean, really wasn't happy with her decision to move back? It's not that he was blaming her, but you can see that he wasn't happy. Were you surprised by that reaction?
Well, I kind of expected it, Jonathan. To be totally honest with you,
Me too.
I expected him to not be happy about it. I wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't be happy if it was me. If I had to make that if I had to make that hard decision, Jonathan, to be where I wanted to be, I wouldn't be happy with that situation either. But that's just me. I wouldn't be happy. You know, I had to make some hard decisions earlier this year,
Hmm.
as you know, and I just and boy, it was the hardest decision for me to make, but it was the best thing for me to ever do. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. And my thing with Joanne and Sean is that, I would want to see a couple that's mature, but Sean's immaturity just brings them down. And even though Sean is an extremely attractive man, but he's so young and his youth really does show. And
Right?
it's a little bit frustrating for me to watch because I'm rooting for them. I really want them to win. But at the same time with Joanne
Do
and
you
Sean, I
do you
just don't see them as like a romantic couple. Like I
do you
don't
think?
see love between them.
My question is for you, Jonathan. Do you think that this relationship is going to last as a long distance relationship, or do you think this is going to be a breaking point for both of the relationship
I think it's
and the
going to
marriage?
I think it's going to be the biggest breaking point for Sean because I think Joanne would be willing to wait. However, Sean is still young. I think he's still in his 30s right now. And he's
Right.
going to want to be with somebody. I feel as though he won't be mature enough to be able to wait for Joanne until her kids get older. But the thing is, even if she were to wait until her kids get older, I really don't think that they'll ever get to a point to where they'll be okay with her living in another country. I just don't see them getting to that point,
The
even if
only
they go to
way I see
college.
the only way I see this lasting, Jonathan, is to be totally honest with you, is to him to move to the United States of America.
I agree with that.
I don't see this lasting, because I don't see her ever going back to ever going back to where he's at.
To
I'm not
Ireland.
even gonna say that. I'm not gonna say the name of the place because I don't. I keep forgetting what the name of the place is. But
It's okay.
I can't. I never. I forget. And my mind is all kind of all over the place
It's
today.
okay.
So I just I can't see her going back to where he's from, or or she's just gonna have to go back to where she's at, and he's just gonna have to stay in the United States of America. That's the point, like Richie. Mm-hmm.
And see, Sean never came across to me as the marrying type, so to say. Excuse me. And he just seems like a hot boy to me. You know what I'm saying? A boy that just wants to have fun, which I can respect. You know what I'm saying? Go out there and do your thing, Sean. I just don't see him settling down, at least not at this age. Maybe when he gets a little bit
Mm-hmm.
older. And maybe if they were to wait until they were both older. Now, Joanne I think she might be in her 50s now. So,
Joanne's
he
in.
might
I
not
thought,
want to.
is she in her 50s? I thought
I'm
I
thinking
thought
she
she was in
might
her.
be.
I don't
I,
know.
I don't know for sure, but maybe we'll have to look that up, or maybe we can Google it. But I
I didn't
don't
know.
know if Sean will have the patience to wait until he's older to have a meaningful relationship with him. But the thing is,
Mm-mm.
like, I don't see them as a married couple. I just
I
see
don't see
them
them.
more
Mm-mm.
as friends with benefits, to be honest. That's
Right.
how it comes off to me. It just
Right.
seems like it just seems from the outside looking in, it seems like their relationship is not based off of love. It seems like it's more based off
I
of
feel like the
lust.
relationship is based off of can you I feel like the relationship is like you're not there for uh you're, she just can't. I just don't see it lasting at all because she's just not the type of person, or he's not the type of person that would wait for somebody on a long
Yeah.
term. Jonathan, he wants to be with somebody now, and I understand where he's coming from, but I also understand where she's coming. So it's kind of like it's like a tongue twist to me. You know, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
what do you do? You know, because I don't know if
Right.
I don't know if if it was me, I don't know how I would handle that situation either. But uh, if I had to make that hard decision, and if I was in a relationship, uh, I don't know how I would handle it either. So I can't really say how she's handled it, but I just don't think it's gonna last. I really don't.
Right. If I was in a relationship with someone who lived in another country, I would want them to come over to the US to live with me, because I can't imagine not living in the same country as my family, friends, and my support group, like my people. I cannot imagine living in another country and more than likely depending on that person for the things for the things that I need. But it is what it is. But I personally do not see Sean and Joanne necessarily working out. They were sitting together at the tell-all, so it seems like they are technically still together now.
Right.
But my interest in them is not as nearly as high as
But
some
we
of the
do,
other couples on the
but
show.
but we do have to remember, Jonathan. These shows are taped in in a year's
A year in advance.
a year in advance. So this
Right.
show that we're watching now and recapping now was done last was
L-
done
Last
was
year.
done last year. So
Right.
we can't really we can't really tell where they're at in the current time,
Hmm.
and not until the tell all part. See,
Right.
that's what I mean because I want to see where they're at now.
Yeah.
I want to see where they all stand at because especially these two because I don't think it's gonna last. I just don't feel like it is.
Yes. But yeah, excuse me. The only reason why I would want to continue seeing them on this show is to see Sean again.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. But
Do
anyways,
you think they're gonna? Do you think they're gonna be back for next season for the next season?
I would hope not, because they really didn't have that much of a storyline besides the fact that they were married for 2 years and didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
For me, because we never saw them go on a date. We never saw them going out doing fun things like Inky and Corona, or like Natalia and James, or
Mm-hmm.
either even Josh and Lily have gone out and done fun stuff together. But the only
Right.
times that we've seen Sean and Joanne together is when they were telling their kids, what they were doing, and that's the only time that
Right.
they were actually together. Or in this episode where they were discussing the fact that she wasn't moving to Ireland. So I haven't
Exactly.
seen enough of their relationship to actually see them as a couple. And as I
Right.
said a little bit earlier, I really don't see them as like a romantic couple, like a married romantic couple that's in love, like that LOVE. I don't see that between them. I really
I don't
don't.
see that part either. I don't see the love and support. I don't see the love in general. So I don't see the part where that I would need Jonathan. I don't see the part to
Yeah.
where you would be in a long distance in a relationship. Period. Either that or a long distance relationship. Hmm.
Yeah, I just don't have much faith in them, but I hope both of them are happy at the end of the day. But let's move on to, and it sounds like Corona pronounced his name as Engi, so I'm going
Mm,
to say, oh no, she said, sound like she said Enki,
yeah.
with the K sound instead of a G sound. But
Mm,
anyways, Corona and Engi, and so they go to this to this glacier
mm,
filled with snow, and they're talking about the conversation that they had concerning them getting married one day. And Corona is having an issue with the fact that Ingi isn't fighting for them. He isn't,
Mm-hmm.
you know, he isn't letting her know that he wants her to stay here. But the thing is, Corona, if you do stay here, what is your plan now? When you're here, you want your man, to want you to stay there, but you, on the other hand, are saying that you need to move back to the U.S. so that you can
Complete your
go
schooling. Mm-hmm.
so that you can go to complete your schooling, to be a midwife, and so because I think she said in the confessionals that she would have to wait at least 2 years before she applies for school in Iceland. And so I was a little bit confused as to where Corona was coming from. Of course, we all want for our partner to fight for our relationship. Of course, that's what we would all want. But knowing what Corona's options are now, which are to, either stay in Ireland, learn the language,
Or go
then
back to the
apply
United
for
States and
school,
complete,
right, or go back to
or
the United States, finish her
right.
schooling. And it's because even if she finishes her schooling in the US, it's not that I don't think that she can come back and work in Iceland because
No,
she
she
has to know
can't.
the language.
No, she can't because you have to know the language,
So,
Jonathan. Mm-hmm.
and so Inky is telling her, that marriage is on their list, further on down the line. I don't know whether to take him seriously or not.
No, I don't believe it. I
Seeing
don't.
them in the preview for the tell-all, Corona literally flicked him off, gave him the bird,
Mm-mm.
gave him the middle finger, to his screen that he was on. He was not there in person, so they're clearly not together anymore. But the fact that Inky was, telling her, "Yeah, we'll get married one day," and Corona kept on asking him, "Are you just saying this because that's what you know that I want to hear, or are you saying this because you genuinely want to marry me?"
Right.
And I don't think he ever gave her a straightforward answer. But what did you
He's
think of
just
their interaction in this episode, Dustin?
it's not a good interaction, Jonathan.
No.
It brings me a lot of red flags, Jonathan, because I can tell it when you're not when a person is not comfortable. I can tell it because
Mm-hmm.
you could tell it, especially um myself, and I know you and stuff like that. I can tell it when I can tell it when I'm getting uncomfortable, and stuff with people that I'm around, stuff like that. And I can tell that she's not happy with him. She's not. She's getting uncomfortable around him,
Right.
and I hate to say that, but that's the truth. But I think that it's better off for them to not be together no longer.
Right.
They both need to cut their ties, and and, and life is too short to be life is too short to not be where you want to be at, Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's really this is really an eye opening to the viewers, as including me, for doing this show is here is because I I have never been more happier where I am at now. So thank you to Jonathan for that, and it's been a really open and eye situation for me to be as to where I need to be is right here with next to Jonathan is very much. Hmm.
Absolutely, Dustin. And you know what? Something that I've been realizing in these last couple of episodes concerning Corona and Inky, I do believe Corona when she says that they have discussed getting married in the past. However, I think that Inky is the type that will say, "Okay, we can do that." But because he does not have an actual desire himself to get married, he's not taking her seriously when she's telling him that she wants to get married, when she's sending him 2 pictures of engagement rings that she would like to have on her ring finger. Because it's not one of his priorities, he just brushes it off and gets to the next to the next topic. But
See, then
he don't
that
care about marriage at all.
that's another red flag for me, Jonathan. Because
Hmm.
how many times have I said you have to be on the same page? It doesn't matter.
Right,
You have to be on the same page with her and him both. You have to be on the same page when you're in a relationship,
right. And
or it doesn't work at all.
it does, and I'm starting to see immaturity when it comes to Inky as well. And It's a little bit it's concerning for me because he does seem to be of older age, and I'm like he's got to get better, and I feel like he needs to man up a little bit, and it seems like he's in the space where all he wants to do is just have fun, and
Well, thank you.
Corona does not seem like the type that would follow a man around while he's having fun and just being, his tag along. Like
Mm-mm.
Corona has to
No,
find, and now that it seems like she's single now, I hope that
she
she
is.
does find a man that is on her level. And
Mm.
that's not to say that Inky is not an intelligent man or not a mature man, but I'm just seeing immaturities in
I
him as
hope
I'm
she. Fi-
watching the
I hope
show, and
she.
it's getting a little bit annoying.
I hope she finds somebody that's on her. That's more where she wants to be. She has to find somebody that wants to be with her, and it doesn't matter, Jonathan. It has to be to the point where you have to be on the same wavelength of the other person. You have to
Hmm.
understand where she wants to be at,
Yeah.
because that's the only way I see it working for her. You
She,
have to, she has to find somebody that wants to be with her for her, and he does not want to be with her for the long haul. I'm just gonna say that right now because that's how I feel.
mhm. And she has to find someone who wants the same thing that she wants. And I don't think clearly Inky does not want the same thing that Corona wants. So Corona has to find someone who's on the same wavelength, who has a similar love language, who wants to get married as much as she does. Because when you're with someone who has a different opinion on marriage or
Mm.
children for that matter, that's
That's
not
a
that's just
big,
that's just not going to work out. It's
that's
not
a
going to work out.
that's a big red flag for me, Jonathan.
Yeah.
It's a as you know, I shared it plenty of times on here. I don't not want kids myself,
Me
so
either.
nobody can tell me differently. I don't want kids
Right.
at all, and nobody can try to change my mind. Nobody, because I'm pretty stern on having no. I don't want no kids. Um, so I I have my reasons for that. My situation is not very good right now. So
Yeah.
I just don't think it. I don't think it would be the best thing for me to bring kids into this my situation the way it is. So I don't think it. Nope, because I can be okay one day, be not okay one day. So, and that's just me. So I just
Yeah.
do not want kids at all at this point in my life.
Right. And so it is what it is with them. We'll see where they are with the tell all next time. Let's move forward with James and Natalia. So James is actually purchased a one-way ticket back to the US. He's going back to the US to work. He does not want to stay in Indonesia with Natalia. And they have not told Natalia's parents. When
Right.
they have that conversation with Natalia's parents, and James told her to tell her parents that he has to go back to the US to work. And all that she said the first time was that he just has to go back to the US. And I'll keep on saying, I'm like, Natalia, tell them why he needs to go back to the US. Now, eventually, she did tell them that he's going back to work. But I feel like she was taking advantage of the fact that he did not know that Indonesian language, and just figured that she was telling him exactly, that she was telling them exactly what he was saying. But she was not
Right.
doing that. And of course, Natalia's parents were very upset. They said that James lied to them, that he promised that he wanted to move back to Indonesia. He wanted to take care of Natalia. But I think that was kind of a dream or a fantasy that James and Natalia had, that they would live in Indonesia and live happily ever after and be able to support themselves and things of that nature. But, that's not the way that things worked out. And James knows that he's got to make money, he's got to work. And I
Mm-hmm.
respect that so much about him. And because, he's just in Indonesia, he's either going to, do the banana chip factory with his father-in-law, or he's got to learn the language and, work in Indonesia in one of their jobs. But Natalia is extremely emotional throughout this entire episode. She keeps on saying, maybe, have Angel come with us, and, maybe have Angel come in. That seems to be her only caveat for going to the US with James, is to have Angel with her. And when he's leaving, when they're at the train station and she's leaving, it's almost like she's literally begging him not to go. And that was so uncomfortable for me, Dustin,
Yeah.
because I'm like, because if I'm James, I would feel like I might be persuaded to stay here and live in, I don't want to say live in squalor, but
Mm.
not, not live in the best of circumstances with your parents. And that's not
Uh,
the life that James wants to live. And she keeps on begging him not to go. And she's like, you're leaving me alone. It's like Natalia, do you understand why he's doing this?
mm.
It's like she doesn't get it. Like
She
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 just wants
doesn't.
James to be with her in Indonesia. She doesn't care what he's doing. I really think that she wants her parents to take care of them. That's what I
She
can
doesn't
only
want him to
assume.
be. She does not want him to be happy, Jonathan. I can tell you right now that he's not happy where he's not happy in Indonesia. He I can feel it, Jonathan. He's not happy for the long haul Indonesia at all.
Mm-mm.
He's happy with her, but he's not happy where he's at.
Right,
Um, and I think that he's more happier in the United States of America, which I would be too if I was him.
right.
I wouldn't want to be leaving. I wouldn't want to be living in another country. I
D-
wouldn't. Now I would like to move, but
right.
I would like to be able to stay in the United States of America, but I wouldn't want to move to another country. That's a little bit too far away for me.
There's something about men being providers, and when men cannot provide for their families, there's an issue. There's always going to be an issue with a man not being able to provide. And if he cannot provide in Indonesia, Natalia, he's not going to stay in freaking Indonesia. He's going to move. And it's like I don't know what Natalia wants, because if they stay in Indonesia, how are they going to be able to support themselves? And I feel like Natalia's point of view would be like, I don't know, but we're here together, and that's all that matters. It's like we have to have a plan, and Natalia is not one who wants to work with a plan. And so I don't know how things are going to go with them. I don't know if they are together in the U.S. Of course, for their love, I would want them to be together. However, I don't see a circumstance where they can be living in the same country and be happy. Because if Natalia is not in
There's no
Indonesia with
way.
her family, she's not going to be happy. And if James is not in the US working, he's not going to be happy. So how are they going to be happy together? I don't see how that can happen.
I don't see it happening, Jonathan. There's no way they can be happy together. Not unless they're both in the United States of America, and I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't see it happening either. But let's move on to I don't know if it's your favorite couple, but they're definitely my favorite couple, Sarper and Shekinah. So
You
Sarper
know you know they're my favorite couple. Don't even say that because you know they are.
so Sarper takes Shekinah onto a boat, and it's very romantic. You know what I'm saying? He's got the he got the whole setup going on. It seems like he's got a dinner ready for them, and he sings her a song. And I'm
Mhm.
the first one to call someone out for not being a good singer. Sarper is not a good singer, but
Well, I can agree with that. I can
he
agree with
does
that.
not sound terrible like some of those really bad auditions on for American Idol. Like he's not that bad. It's just that he
Well,
can't hold a note. He doesn't know anything about pitch and all that good stuff. But I thought it was really sweet of him to sing a song to Shekinah, and it really warmed my heart, Dustin. Like you know how I feel about Sarver, so
I know how you
I was
feel.
just
Yeah.
over here melting, honey. Okay, but
Mm,
he proposed to Shekinah. It was a beautiful moment. However, the issue is Sarper has no interest in moving to the US. Although his visa has
mm-mm,
been approved, he has
mm-mm.
no interest in moving to the US with Shekinah. They have an engagement party with Sarper's family. They have a tradition there in Turkey where he lives, where she makes him some tea, and she says she's going to put all the salt in this tiny little cup of tea. She put the entire thing of salt in there, trying to make him make a face, because apparently if he
Yes.
makes a face when he sips the tea, he's not ready to get married, and so he tried his best not to make any faces. I saw the faces he was making, but maybe they're going to bypass that and act like they didn't see it. So anyway, so he drinks the tea. He says that it was disgusting. then his parents are there, and
Uh,
they ask
well,
Sarper how he
the
feels
reason
about
why
her family
the
not
tea
supporting them.
the reason why the tea was so bad is she put the whole thing of salt in there.
Yes.
Why
Who
did she
puts
put?
salt in tea? I don't understand that. Why do you put salt in tea? That don't make
Ew, I
no
don't want
sense
no
to
salt
me.
and tea.
No, no, I want sugar in my tea. I want it sweet. I don't want it
Right.
salty. Who wants salty tea? No wonder you said it was disgusting.
See, but they said that was a tradition to put salt in the tea. But ew, that's
Mm.
gross.
It's gross to me too, Dustin. I did not want to see it, but Sarper's family asked him how he feels about the fact that Shekinah's family is not supportive of their relationship, and Shekinah actually ends up apologizing to all of them and saying, "I'm so sorry that my family's not supportive," and they're on her side about it. They clearly love Shekinah, like they clearly love her, and I honestly don't know why Shekinah doesn't consider staying in Turkey. I understand that she has a daughter, so I understand that that might be the reason why she wants to go back to the U.S. And that
Mm-hmm.
would be a really good reason why she would want to go back to the U.S. So I guess that
Mm-hmm.
answers my question. But I
Okay.
love the fact that Sarper's family seems to love Shekinah so much and support her so much. But Sarper
Mm-hmm.
actually has this conversation with both his mother and his father, saying that he does not have any desire to go to the US and that he really wants for Shekinah to stay with him in Turkey. And I really want to see their conversation about this. And they're obviously going to have to talk about it during the tell-all. I mean, because
Right.
Sean Robinson is going to hold their feet to the fire when it comes to this conversation, since we did not actually see
What?
it in the
Let me
show.
let me tell you something about Shauna Robertson.
Hmm.
I have watched her tell-alls for years and years. I've been a TLC watcher for a long time,
Hmm.
and and she goes on about these couples. She gets every question she can out of these couples, and she is one of the best. She is one of the best tell-all hosts that I have ever seen in TLC history, because she does really go after people, and she gets all these questions answered. I hope she gets this question answered.
I hope so too. And I feel like they didn't have the conversation on camera, like live on camera, because of the way that the conversations could go. Like it could really blow up between the two and cause a lot
Mm-hmm.
of friction between the two. And I'm thinking maybe they didn't want that to be shown on the show. And maybe they
Uh,
just wanted to have that conversation in private, which I can respect them for that. Because I
mm-hmm.
really don't like seeing the drama. I like to see couples being happy, married, and
Mm-hmm.
living their life. But I thought it was. I just think it's so sweet that Sarper's family really does support Shekinah and they really do
Mm-hmm.
love her. I almost thought when Sarper's friend was talking to Shekinah, that I thought that because she's the one that Sarper told that he's going to propose to her so that he can kind of convince her to stay in Turkey. So I was surprised that Sarper's friend didn't tell Shekinah about his plan, but again, that wasn't her place, and I'm glad
Mm-hmm.
that she didn't say anything. I was surprised that she didn't, but I'm glad that she didn't because that would have ruined the entire night for everyone. And everyone was in good spirits and was having a good time. And so I'm glad that that didn't happen. But I hope the best for them. I want the best for them because they're one of the only couples that I actually see love between the two. You
Mm-hmm.
can tell how much they love each other, and they seem like they were meant for one another. And I love the fact that Shekinah has seemed to have found herself while in her relationship with Sarper, and I love the fact that Sarper has not run away from Shekinah
Mm-hmm.
after seeing that she's kind of gotten some gotten some cojones about her and is
Mm-hmm.
speaking up for herself. I love the fact that he didn't run away because a lot of men who are controlling would not appreciate that and would try to beat their woman down or just leave them. And he's done neither one of those things. And so
Right.
I'm happy to see that they are happy. Any final thoughts on them before we get out of here, Dustin?
No, I just think that we're gonna have an interesting tell-all next week, and
Yeah.
after next week, after the tell-all, me and Jonathan are gonna start doing a new show the week after next. It's gonna be a 90-day fiance before the 90 days. So
Before the 90
we're gonna have a
days.
lot of stuff to cover. Jonathan and I are going to have a lot of stuff to cover with this new program that we are going to cover. and I think it's going to be an interesting. It's going to be an interesting season because
Yeah.
from what I am seeing now, we're going to have a lot of. We're gonna. There's one. I'm going to tell you one thing now. There's one thing that you're going to like, Jonathan. Eh, There's somebody on 90 Days Before the 90 Days. He's a model,
Oh.
and he's a handsome person. So you're going to be interested to see that part.
Yeah,
And
you,
mhm.
you know I love the good looking men's, Dustin. Bianca says amazing review, y'all. Yes, you know I love me a good looking man, Dustin. So I am looking forward to seeing who you were talking about. But thank y'all so much for joining us for this review of 90 Day Fiance The Other Way, season 6, episode 20. Make sure you guys subscribe, like the video, comments down below. Make sure you press the notification bell, share JoJo Speaks with your family and friends. You guys can
Right.
follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is JoJo_Speaks3020. My Facebook is Jonathan Lee. My email is WilliamJonathanLee@gmail.com. My Cash App is $Jonathan Lee 07. That's $JONATHAN 07. Dustin, go ahead and give us your social medias.
My social media is Dustin Butler. Facebook is Dustin Butler. My Instagram is Dustin Butler 700. And I also have an email if you want to have send it to me. It's DustinButler700 at yahoo.com. So, I also,
Yahoo.
yeah, so I have a Yahoo email and I also have a Gmail account.
Yahoo was the first website I had an email on. The first website, and my email name was ridiculous. It was just a bunch of random letters put together because all the Jonathan Lees were taken up. But all right, so Dustin Butler 700 at yahoo.com. Thank you so much for that, Dustin. And thank y'all
You're
once
welcome.
again for watching. Join us next week, same time, same place, same
Same beautiful
beautiful
faces.
faces. But until then, we'll say bye for now. Y'all have a
Bye.
wonderful week and take care out there. Thank you so much
We
for
will.
watching. Love y'all.
Love you.
Bye, y'all.